Gerone Wright here, and once again you're joining me here on my Gerone Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. Okay, in this video I'm going to be decoding for you the famous Egyptian Apish Bull. All right, through my ongoing paranormal experience and encounter, which allows for me to understand our ancient ancestral past, I can take and bring to you the true value and the meaning in these so-called deities or gods, as we were led for them to as we were led to believe that these depictions represented. It seems that through all my discoveries and linking connections, what we're finding here is that these creatures are being commemorated, being worshipped, because they help further mankind genetically from their ape and African ancestor. Excuse me for 1 minute. Let me turn this dryer off so I can concentrate. There's a furthering of mankind's genes from that of his ape and African ancestor, and creatures such as this creatures, the sheep, the horse, the croc, the turtle, the elephant, and the lion, the tiger, the bull, all of these creatures that are being worshipped and commemorated from continent to continent, almost like mascots, if you will, that we see today in our sports. On each and every location and with these civilizations, these animals are being worshipped in the sense of like gods, because they help further that civilization of people genetically from the true origins of whom they genetically were, and that was ape and Africans. This is the reason why you see such a dramatic change and from continent to continent of civilizations of people and who we physically and genetically are. There's no better way to describe it, and it should have always made sense. I mean, if people were not looking for such complex answers, and people were not had their blinders on due to the fact of their religions and the way science has, well, actually science science is governed by religion, because in order for you to be into the science field, I mean, you're going to be governed by at first what? Your religious beliefs and your religious values. So, I mean, when reality is that all you have to do is look at what is before you, history that is before you, and the truth is revealed and told. You have an Egyptian glyphs, you have half animals, half birds, half crocodile people, half everything. I mean, it says, look at the Egyptian people. Who tells the story better than they do? Of mankind likenesses with animal heads. I mean, they have like, what, 10 to 15 different of these beasts that are appearing. I mean, at what point do we say, okay, yeah, well, they're not describing gods, they're describing genetics. And these are the different genetics that were intervened into their bodies to change for their likeness and calls for the different likenesses of mankind within the Egyptian people. And this is why they dramatically changed so much from the creatures that came before them, which was the apes and Africans. I mean, it just doesn't get no simpler than that. And then from each continent to each continent, the same thing is being described. All right, here we are with the Apish Bull. And by the way, I can do this from each continent. I don't care if it's Japan, I don't care if it's China, I don't care where it's at. It doesn't make a difference. With each culture, they're all stating the same thing. The animals that they're worshiping are the creatures that cause for their genetic alterings, and subsequently amounted to the likeness of those people on those continents today, point blank, genetically. What's being described here? Oh, let me draw this creature out right quick while I'm sitting here. What's being described here with the Apish Bull? The Apish Bull is one of those creatures that genetically contributed to the genetic altering of mankind with the Egyptian people. Wherever these paintings are, most people just look at the face value of what is there. I look beyond that because I know what this creature stands for. So if you Google the Apish Bull, you'll get a darker version here and you'll get a lighter version there. These are the two different images. And the darker one is more telltale and more revealing because the lines, the multi-dimensional lines in here that creates the other faces in the Apish Bull's body are more accented. In the lighter version, they're there, but I mean, you really have to have that reptilian sense of vision to actually see what is being described. But they both reveal underlying images, multi-dimensional images that show that there was a genetic change through this beast and there were mutations, and it shows the creatures which actually caused for these changes. Some of them are that are included in this image that you cannot see until I show them to you is the mandarin ape, okay, the ape, and then there's mutations and other creatures that were created, different likenesses of the bull, mutations, and of mankind that are encrypted, well, not encrypted, but included in underlying images with this creature. And this is the true cause and the true value for this creature. This was a significant value for this creature in the Egyptian world. And I'm gonna spin off for just one minute. I mean, what better way than to alter mankind genetic being than to subject humans to the genetic crossbreeding with this animal to change the altering genetically of mankind's direction, feeding, cycling back and forth these genes with the ape and with the African and changing these genes, running it back in, and they show how it was done. A blueprint that shows how it was all done. All right, I'm going to take and I'm going to give you some of these images that I was talking about. I'm going to come in closer. Let me show you. There's something else that I'm going to tell you about this. The Apish Bull. I'll first by when I hear that name Apis, and I know that it comes from another different name, but when I hear Apis, I hear the word, I separate and hear the word ape. So what's close to Apis? Apis is A-P-I-S. So when you tie in ape to this, I say to myself, well, how can I keep Apis in there and then bring in the significant of the ape being involved as well too? So basically all you have to do is just add to the end, and you got A-P-I-S, which is Apis, and you just add an H and you get apish, meaning that there is a doping, in other words, between the ape and the Apish Bull, which and you come up with apish. So that creates the scenario. So we have the ape and the bull, and you have like a doping, in other words, a doping of genes, and you come up with, I came up with the word apish. Apish, not apis, but apish. So we have an apish bull. So we have, instead of having it as A-P-I-S, we have A-P-I-S-H. So now we're including the ape, and I'm renaming this as the Apish Bull. Now, let me show you some of the things that you will be able to find with this. As you start looking closely with this, and I'm going to try to do this in a way. All right, let me do this right here. I'm going to bring this up to you and see if I can what you can see up in there. Okay. This is a larger image of the bull right here. Alright, so I'm going to turn it this way, and as I turn, notice that there is an image of a monkey. I highlighted, accented it some. See the mouth of the monkey right there? And this is in the bull's shank. His, what is that? His right front leg, shoulder area, the shank area right there. See the eyebrow area of that monkey? See how the leg is almost that, creates that of the horn of that monkey. See that? Now, the monkey has its mouth open as if it's feeding, suckling off the bull. See the mouth open right there? That's that V right there creates a. So you get this area here, and what does this look like? Yeah, okay, the foreskin of this bull's penis. So you Google bull penis and you'll see the foreskin. But it gets better because on the foreskin it actually gives you the face, the cowlish face of this creature, which indicates that these two creatures were going back and forth, the monkey and the bull, with genetic exchanges, because the bull is actually shown sucking on the monkey's lip, which means that they were genetically cross-referenced. This is how it was described. I mean, what better way to do it than to show one creature sucking another creature? It almost kind of, you know what, I have a picture here. I'm going to show you something else. Because as I'm sitting here talking about that, I'm looking at this because what I just described here is one creature sucking on another creature. There, I'm looking at this image, and this is what I imagine when I see this. You see, what's being described is something that has always been in place. Let me show you something else here with that. I don't know if you actually, oh yeah, you can see the bull. Oh, let me point out the bull's eye here. Let me see this because I'm looking at the screen backwards for those of you that can't see it. There's the bull's eye right there. There's the bull's forehead. Here's the open mouth of the bull. You see how the bull's mouth is entwined, shown sucking. The ape's mouth is shown sucking on the bull, and then the bull's mouth is shown sucking on the ape. And that's the indication of what's going on. Now there's a whole lot more here than that. It's just not about just that in itself. There's more here. So let me show you. I'm almost seeing almost like numbers or something. Alright. I'm going to show you something else. Do we have here? When you start looking at these blotches and these areas on here, you have to look at these patterns as being like that of cells. And that's right, cells. Cells of the creatures that are being described. When you look at these creatures' bodies, you look at them as being genetic bridging, or look at it in a way that a doctor would look at it in reading your chart after you gave blood. And then you start realizing what is actually happening here. Now, these darkened areas usually represent the first origins of our ape and African ancestors, or species. So you turn this slowly around, and what you see in there is the face of a mandarin ape. There's actually several faces in there. They're multi-dimensional faces, and normally you can pinpoint one. Let me come in closer and show you here. The mandarin's ape head forehead is up here, and his mouth area is down there. But there's multi-dimensional images. It's hard to separate one from the other. I think I might, but you can see the monkey's face in there, but there's several in there. I'm gonna come in closer. See that monkey's face? And And then off to either side, you'll see multi-dimensional images of that ape face morphing out on either end. Now, I may have it highlighted, but let me show you some other things here, people. Where's the head that I had around the collar of this ape? Oh, okay, so on there. I'm gonna have to bring that one down that I have there. Now, also, let me go to, well, I have this image here. So there's a reference of reptilian and other creatures being described here. But if you start looking up in the collar of the neck of this creature, this is just one of the faces that stand out. There's multi-dimensional faces that go in both directions in sequential order, describing the genes, the motion of these genes from which these beings were created. That there face is a green face, which is describing to me a specific creature which I've identified of one of our reptilian ancestors, and it's describing a certain gene. Okay, now if you take this and look down in the shoulder area, there's a larger face. Let me see where I'm at here. There's a larger face. I think I put lips on it. It's hard for me to see, people, because I'm looking at this backwards. But I believe it's, I'm looking at this backwards, so it's difficult for me to, like, right in. Let me see there. There's some lips there that I highlighted. Where's my pencil tip? Right there. This sucks because I'm actually doing this. Alright, on the shoulder shank, there's, I probably don't even have to be that close. Right there, there's a set of lips. There's a face there. There are multi-dimensional faces all in here. I'm going to bring in the ape's face in 1 minute. To show you, I'm going to have to bring in the other. See if I see anything else here before I change this off. Alright. Okay, I'm going to take these down. I'm going to take one of these down. This is actually... Now, I want to show you this here. Notice right here in the neck area, you see almost like a face area right there. You take it, I highlighted and accented it some, and you slowly spin it around, and you start to see beings with tongues out of their mouths, and you see that? Mutations right there. All through here. Now, as I'm holding this up to you, you're probably seeing other things in here and say, you know what, I see a pattern. And you're right. Because these morphing multi-dimensional images go off in a direction and show you what is being described and how certain mutations were spliced off of this genetic bridging between this ape and Apish Bull, which created my Apish Bull. Now, I'm going to give you the monkey that is being described. Let me see what else here I have on this image. Oh, here's you know what? That king and queen that I wanted to show. Let me see where they're. That's what I missed. There's a king and queen image. Let me see if I can bring that back up. Alright, first of all, let me give you the ape image. You should be able to see. Now, notice that this image, it's like this. And just like the Renaissance artists did in their artwork, our Egyptian ancestors did the same thing. Normally in the blotched out black areas, you'll be able to see the black faces of our original ancestors. And you should be able to see a face of an ape in that area. I'm going to come in a little closer. Then I'm going to back up and see if I can see it upside down here. There's the mouth, the nostrils, and the eyes. You see the face of the ape in there? I'm going to bring it back and then bring it in. You can see how the face appears. You can actually see a face coming at you. And it's probably morphing, and you guys probably seeing likenesses of man and everything else, but they're multi-dimensional images, and there's several in there, not just one, but several. So the image can be realized many different ways, and this is why this is all self-verifying, because it's not just one image of it. These are not random images of just one creature. It's an evolutionary sequential order and a pattern of several creatures from which evolved out of that process, and it's all being described. What do we have here? What else can I show you here in this? Just to show you how this actually works. That face with the lips on it and all that. Now in this shank here, let me see if I can hold it. Which way would be best to hold it up for you to how I'm seeing it here. Look, like right in here, you should see about maybe like 1, 3, maybe even 4 faces across here. Look right in there in this shank. See the woman's face? You see about 3 of them morphing each other. You see some of them with identifiers on their heads, almost like crowns and stars. See them in there? I can't really show you from here because I'm leaning over my showing board here and in front of the screen, but look right here closely. And plus, a lot of you guys can Google these images and look at them yourself, download them and take a look. And don't be afraid to turn them a little bit and take a look and get an angle. But you'll see the faces in there. People, I would not be able to do this unless I knew what I was talking about. And even you can, as you get good with looking at this, you can even change the face of the bull, because these faces go up, and it shows you that not only was there a genetic change with mankind and womankind, there was a genetic change with this creature as well. And this is why you have different creatures being symbolized with this in these ancient mythical stories. See that? So when groups of people invaded these locations, stole the gold and took the artifacts and all of that, they didn't know about how our ancestors had the ability, through their multidimensional sense of awareness, which was gifted through them through their reptilian ancestors, that paintings also had the key, or the genetic key, to who we genetically were. They thought by destroying those big statues and all of that, defacing them in Egypt, would stop the truth from getting out. When in fact, that anything, and even in the smallest of artifact to the largest of artifacts, these beings had a multi-dimensional sense of awareness. That means that the people that created these drawings and paintings had the ability to naturally include everything in the most minute sense of information incorporated into these drawings. So this bull right here can tell the Egyptian people how they genetically came to be and which creatures genetically contributed to altering them to look the way they did, just from this painting. And this is why throughout history, the apes are, through my findings, the apish, because this is the bull was used to dope the ape's genes and create altering genes. Now, people, you know that black and African and ape genes were a tough gene to overcome. So this is the reason why on each continent there was a different creature utilized to further the process. These experiments, this is why our civilizations of people are sequestered, colonized on different locations, different nations, to create these experiments, and then come around in full circle, and each one is being reintroduced and recycled, and this is how we finally ended up coming to our Caucasian counterparts, who have green eyes, blue eyes, blonde hair, red hair, brunette hair. You see, you get the picture, because creatures were utilized to genetically change us. Now, what else is there? There's got to be more than just that, right? There's got to be more. Oh, the king and queen. Now, in this same image, I'm going to probably have to draw the king, the image of the king out, because I don't know if you're going to... Did I draw it out here? I'm going to show you something. I don't have it there, so I guess I'm going to have to highlight it right quick. Okay. I'm going to have to... Let me see if I can get this for you. Alright, I'm going to have to pin this to the board and then bring it up, because I'm going to have to try to... Let me see. Okay, we'll bring it up higher. Okay. Higher yet. Let me see if I can show you this king and queen. And the crown is actually created, but the crown is actually that of an ape. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit just to get you up close and personal with me, and then I'm going to close this video out. Alright. Okay. I'm going to hold there. Now, I'm going to do it backwards. So it's going to be a little difficult here for me, because I got to look from over here. But down in here is the chin area of a male figure. Here's his mouth. There's the eye. And if you can imagine with me, up in here is a crown. This creates the crown area here, which is actually that of an ape and the mother of creation. But this creates like a king figure here, wearing the crown. He's crowned or covenant, like a halo. This is why the crown exists. This is why kings wear crowns, because it's like almost the same exact symbology in that of ancient rooted religion. When you have the halo, you're covenanted in the genes from which they're describing. In this case, the ancient rooted genes of the mother of creation and our ape ancestor, which was that the first ape was the reptilian ape, and this is what it's describing here. Now, let's take the same image, and I gotta turn it to bring you the queen. Cause I have to see that. Alright. This is difficult, people, so bear with me. One day I'm gonna have a system in place. I'm gonna have a tech squad that's gonna help me out with this and make my life a whole lot simpler with doing this. Now, let's find this queen. The queen's face is in here, but now that I turned her upside down, I can't see her. You probably can see her real good, but I can't see. In fact, I'm seeing, look like I'm seeing an entire monkey face right here as I'm looking backwards here. But hold on, let me see if I can come around here with you and see the queen's face. I just showed you the... this is the degree of difficulty with this. All right, I'm gonna take this. Okay, I see her face there. I'm gonna see if I can draw it out. I see it turned up like this. The queen's face is here. This is her. Hold on. There's her chin. There's her mouth. There's her nose. There's her eye. and she shares in wearing the crown with the, okay, I gotta back off. Damn. There's a queen face. I'm gonna back off. I hope you guys can see this. In fact, I'm gonna have to bring this down. Alright, now I can come in closer again. Yeah, this is difficult, people, so bear with me. And I'll see if I can highlight this for you. Here's the queen's chin. I'm going around her chin right there. Here's her mouth. Here's her cheekbone, or over around her eye. There's her eye. Her nose is here. Here's the front of her face. And actually, she's upside down looking at me as well, too. And the crown area is shared by that. And she's turned up looking at me. A multi-dimensional face, but I did highlight it some. And she's right in here. The face of a woman. So, looking at it from this way up, the face of man, then you have the face of woman, and it's multi-dimensional. So I'm seeing, as I'm showing you down, she's looking up at me as well too, right here, because her face is like every direction that you look at it, her face is revealed. So there's a face of a woman there, and she's looking up at me as well too. Alright, so she's not only downward, but she's upward, like congenital twins of herself right there. And this creates the crown, and then the ape is in there. There's the face of a king, and it all creates a crown, meaning that they are covenanted, haloed in the cocktail, the cauldron-like creation from the utilization of the genes of this beast, which is the bull, the apis or apish bull, and that of the ape. And it's specialized. It tells you on the backside, it shows you the mandarin ape. My name is Gerone Wright. I'm going to end this video there. I don't think that I missed out on anything. I'm going to spin this back around again. Well, I don't think that I missed out on anything. Oh, yeah, let me go here while I'm here. Now, if you go up, I want you to go here. Let me put this back up here. Because I want you to see something here with in the head of the bull. I want you to see something. If you look up in here, what the heck? This is extremely difficult, people. To try to do this over tap of a laptop. If you look in here as well, let me see if I can highlight something for you. You will start seeing the faces of creatures. In fact, I can do a lion right here. There's a multi-dimensional presence of creatures right here, and it looks like the last creature utilized right here, and I'm doing it upside down. I'm going to draw the face of a lion. Hold on. Because the lion is looking up at me. The diamond in his nose I just did. There's the eye. Now, lo and behold, people, the lion is referenced in the Great Sphinx as one of the creatures as well that has genetically altered that civilization of people. Now, I'm going to turn this around to show you that I just drew the lion's face. But that's just one of the creatures that are actually shown here. I'm going to turn this around and show you the lion's face that I just drew for you. That is there. And then I'm going to close this video up. Let me put my text back up here. This is crazy because this is let me make sure that I'm seeing the lion's face. I done lost the lion's face just that quick. I have it right there. Let me show you where the lion's face is. There's the chin, there's the mouth, There's the chin, there's the mouth, there's that line that come up to the diamond in the lion's nose, and one of his eyes is shown, and this is the lion's forehead. That is one of the multi-dimensional faces that are there. You probably see other things that are there, but they're multi-dimensional images that shows you the genetic contribution to these creatures and genetic altering, which created new bloodlines and new semen lines for the beings that are being described. And it's all through this Apish Bull, and this can be read. With a team of experts, I can sit there and go with them and go through them. And in fact, people, I'm almost seeing like I'm seeing writing right here. This is what I keep seeing, like writing or some type of text right there coming across my pencil right there. This is what I keep seeing in the corner of my eyes. Now, people probably know what that is or can translate that, but and I might be wrong, but this actually looks like a text to me that's encrypted into the neckline. Like this creature is wearing a collar. Look at that across there. You see that? So there's like a text that's there as well. I just turned it back over. So that's something that can be looked at as well. My name is Gerone Wright. I'm going to end that video there. Okay? But it's my position that wherever you see these drawings, there are multi-dimensional images that can be realized that are hiding in the shadows of these paintings, which describe genetically what occurred. And this the artist or artist that creates these images captures the underlying message in their artwork, because it relates to who we genetically are, and nothing meant more to our ancestors than that fact, and how they could genetically alter themselves or genetically evolve. Oh, you know what? While I'm at that, let me do this, because I'm going to show you something as well with this too. Remember, I'm always telling you about things going in mouths and snaky objects and all of this here, that, the third. Yeah, I'm going to show you something as well too. If you look at the Apish Bull's neck, look at this object here. We all know that bulls do have like that hanging piece of skin down here. But look how this object is. If you Google a bull's penis, you would notice that, at the foreskin of that bull's penis, a bull's penis snakes around just like this here and comes into a point. Now, what in the world is that? This, let me draw this out for you, because this is not that extra skin on a bull's neck. This is describing the organ of the bull and of an ape and of creatures, and it's showing you that there's an involvement, and we all know through the pineal gland. Now look at this here. This is actually creates like foreskin up in here. Now look how I'm drawing this. I'm gonna go lightly. This is creating not that what you call of the bull, of the Apish Bull, but it's creating the scenario of what a bull's dick or penis would look like. And I just highlighted it. Now, this is the foreskin area here, as you see that I'm drawing, and it's showing you through the pineal gland that there is a genetic exchange. That is an organ. You see that? What you would expect, and most of us in our household pets, if your dog got sexually aroused and was going to go get him some or whatever, this is what you would see. This is a organ exiting skin. Now check this out. Now you have it down here and you have it down there, and you have creatures all in this bull's body, and it's showing you what the hell is going on. So how come I'm the one that's showing you this? Now don't forget that there's the head of an ape right here, and then you see all this suckling going on, and you see this So you have an ape with its mouth open here, a bull going into the ape's mouth, and then you have the indication of that penis, which is cleverly encrypted in there to make it look like that hanging. Look at this, people. Like it's this hanging skin that you would expect on a bull, but it's actually showing you in detailing and describing the bull's, what you would expect in a bull's dick. Now, for those of you that don't buy that, they have this dick over here looking not as real as it is there. Why is it looking more real here than it is there? You know why? Because it's telling you that this bull orally digested that of his ape counterpart, and the ape counterpart orally digested that of the bull, and there was a blood and semen exchange, and they didn't show it back here. This is just a camouflage to what is something that is going here. However, they do show a little something, because remember that there is an ape back here in that blotched area, but look at how off the scrotum or nutsack of the bull back there, there's that black part coming out from the scrotum. So it's showing you, look, a black one going out towards the mouth of the ape, which is encrypted. And here that I showed you, by simply turning this up like that, it creates the face of the ape, and look from the scrotum, that line being drawn to the face of the ape. The same exact thing that is shown here in the front with the bull. And then let me take this down before I close this video out. And then the same exact thing as, oh, where are we at here? That's being described here with the monkey sucking on. You know what this reminds me of? You ever see like the circus monkeys, or those monkeys in like the Tibetan monkeys or something like that there in India, like they're wearing a cone cap or something? By the way, look like the monkey's wearing the bull leg there. It reminds me of one of those caps, like a Merlin cap there. But you see, oh, where we at with the monkey? Let me draw that. You can see the monkey there. See the open mouth there and the eye. Yeah, you can see. I don't have to draw it out anymore. But the leg, it seems like it's wearing that the Merlin cap. All right, people. I'm gonna close this video out. I'm getting a little. My back is getting crazy leaning over here. I'm gonna close the video out with that. But again, we have the Apish Bull Decoded by Gerone Wright, and it's my position that if you Google this image, either the light version or the darker version of it, now that I've shown you, you will be able to identify multidimensional images of that creature, and the symbolic significance of this creature is referencing how through the pineal gland of this creature, and with that of the ape ancestor, which is the mandarin ape. If you look at the mandarin ape, people, the reason why you're hearing this is because the mandarin ape is in what? Close likeness. And if you look at that creature, you can see everything reptilian about that creature. So the mandarin ape is on that scale of being with that reptilian ape that no one never heard about until I started talking about it in my videos. So that mandarin ape, I see a face here looking at me here, chin, mouth, nose, look at this. See that face there? These beings represent who we genetically are, and they genetically contributed to that of what mankind is today. And as I evolve through my paranormal experience and encounter, I can break down this on every continent. It doesn't make a difference. And it actually shows you now in the details to you that people that has been so-called reading you these glyphs back here, by them missing this message, what they've been reading up here is unreliable. Everything that we as a civilized people understand that a picture say 1,000 words. How am I able to describe this more so easier than they are describing that? And this is elementary, because this is telling you and showing you step by step by step by step by step who you genetically are. And those that have been scholars that have been reading you this have been taking you all over the place. And more evidence is being found to show that they are wrong. But this is consistent. These messages are consistent, telling you who you genetically are. So who is right? You be the judge. My name is Gerone Wright. Thank you for viewing my Gerone Wright channel. And people, again, share my videos. We'll get there sooner or later. Meaning going viral. Thank you.